Welcome to the Budapest Speed Shop. My friends named my garage the Budapest Speed Shop because I'm from Budapest, but I live in Kentucky, and I have these, I have a nice car collection, and one of them are this East German made Wartburg. As you see, this time I'm not just parked over the leak, it's actually leaking. There's no oil to leak out of it because it's a two-stroke, but it does have coolant in it because it's a two-stroke, a water-cooled 3-cylinder engine. So today we're gonna change the water pump seal. The water pump seal is a little carbon seal, and well, I think it's just disintegrated because I went on the freeway and I went almost 65 miles an hour with it. So every time I drive this car, there's something happens to it. It's the guy I got it from is totally restored it down to the last bolt. It was a lot of money what he spent on it, but it's still not a good car, obviously. The Trabant is a lot more reliable mode of transportation. This was the full-size East German vehicle. It's actually made out of metal. The smaller one, the Trabant, it was used compressed cotton fiber, sort of like fiberglass, but instead of the glass, they used dirty, not usable Russian cotton. But that's another story, so let's just stay with this. So on this engine, you can see it's an overhead shaft, not an overhead camshaft. It has an overhead shaft. So it's got the drive from the front, and then on the back, it is the water pump. There is a bleeding screw, the fan, and the radiator. The seal, what I'm talking about, is right about here. There's a hole, and there's another hole at the bottom where it can actually leak out if there's a problem. So the bottom hole showed me that it's leaking. So what I need to do is I either take the cylinder head off and everything else stays, or I take the radiator out and the that air filter housing out, and then I can get it from the back. So I think I'm just gonna leave the cylinder head on, and I'm just gonna remove the radiator and then work on it like that. So I don't know how long this repair gonna take, so I think I'm just gonna do a little car shuffling. And I like to drive my Healey today because it's a gorgeous day, but it hasn't ran since last fall. So first I'm gonna try to start it. Originally the Healeys had two 6-volt batteries, one there, one here, but my friend who I got this car from, he just dumped a real large 12-volt battery in it. So this car is a survivor. I think I have some other videos of it, but I'm gonna try to start it. I haven't run it since I don't know, last fall, and now it's June, so let's see if it starts. All right, let's see what this Healey does after sitting a long time. So first you're gonna turn on the fuel pump, which my friend installed, who I got this car from. Then ignition on, and let's push the button. Well, first try was no luck, but I really like this instrument. It's the oil pressure up and the temperature gauge to the bottom. Looks like we got fuel. Let's try it again. She's alive, but let's wake her up. Woo! This is a true ref counter. It comes off of the end of the dynamo and turns this. in turn. I'm gonna wait a little bit before I'm gonna add gas, because otherwise it's gonna stall. It's got the automatic choke system on it and it's disconnected. All right, now it runs fine. Let's try to get out of here. I'm gonna get a chance to wash it, clean it out, and then we're gonna go to the club dinner this evening. All right, let's park the Wartburg in. Ooh, we have an intruder. Let's try to get it out before it stings me. Well, let's see how this one starts. That's very nice. Not surprisingly, the Wartburg is a larger car than the Austin-Healey, so it's good where it is, but not surprisingly, it's leaking. That's what we want to fix. Since I'm doing the taking the radiator out approach, first we're gonna remove the air filter. This is not the air filter housing. This is just the air collector, but this is the air filter housing held on by 2 bolts down here. So first we're gonna remove those 2. First we're gonna loosen up this thing, and there's the screw for it. And that will release this box from the carburetor's top. Then there's the spark plug wire holder. Now the front part is loose. We're gonna take this one off, but you gotta be careful. There's not only these ones, but there's one in the bottom too, which we need to unscrew. Don't have to take it all the way out, just unscrew it so we can slide it out. Before that, we're gonna take this overflow out somehow. I don't know how. I think I'm gonna have to break this nice work here. I think I'm gonna let the water down from the engine block, and there's a little releaser down there where I can, that's the lowest point of the system, so we can drain the coolant from it. And since we're doing this, I'm gonna open up the valve, the heater valve, so we could drain the heater core as well. I put a little anti-seize lubricant on this drain plug. Hopefully it's gonna open next time as well. I really feel bad for this original hose, but it was already leaking and it's got a lot of crack on it, so we're just gonna cut it. It came off real easy. You can see the 3rd bolt down there. It was holding it. If I could show it, it's right there. And then I put them somewhere secure to make sure they don't get any scratches. So I put them in the trunk. Now we're gonna disconnect the radiator, and all the hoses and everything will have to come off. In order to take the radiator out, it's very simple. You either release this or this. Then take this heater hose off, and it's held on by springs. There's one here, one on the other side, and one on the back. You also need to release this hose down here, so it's either from here or there, so it is easier from here. So I'm gonna get it off the water pump part. And then you got a little flexible part here where you need to take the spring off and this little wire around it. As soon as I removed the lower hose, the radiator started to leak. I mean, the coolant started coming out, so I had to catch that. But now everything is ready for the radiator to come out, so I just need to remove those holder springs, and then one on the back here. and 2 on the front, 1 on the back, and then we can get it out. I said it wrong, only 1 spring on the front, 1 spring on the back, and then the radiator can come out. In order to get to the water pump part, we need to remove first this bolt here, and then the fan off, followed by this other bolt right there to take this fan shroud off. I was prying with this large screwdriver, a little bit this side, a little bit that side, very carefully, and now it's coming off. Now that I loosen up this bolt here, I can remove this fan shroud. And here's this carbon seal at the end of it, and you can see it. I don't know if that's the problem or not. Now I'm gonna remove this heater hose, which is it's seen better days, and then these bolts, and then the whole thing will come off. It's like a sandwich. It came from 3 different parts. I'm just gonna take it all off. In order to get the belt off, I had to loosen up the dynamo or the generator, and then I'm gonna able to take the belt off of it. You gotta be careful not to lose this one little key, because then you're in trouble. Now we can remove these bolts out of the water pump, and then we can take this water pump housing off. All the bolts are out. Now we can remove the water pump. Well, it's not that easy. I'm trying to get this shaft out without breaking it, and in order to do that, we got to disconnect the light bulbs on both sides, and then we got 4 bolts what holding this front grill on, which 4 nuts what I need to remove, and then we can remove the grill. In order not to disconnect the hood opener latch and this I don't know how you call this, this air vent. I'm gonna try to put it on the side here, but I gotta put something there to make sure nothing gets scratched up. Now that I moved the front grill onto the side, now I got a lot more access to the engine, so I'm gonna able to put this puller on and push this shaft out that way, hopefully. I tried with 2 different pullers. It's just not budging, not going that way at all. So I had to recut the thread because the thread is getting bad. It's like some really mild hard steel, I guess, from East Germany. So I'm gonna leave this die on it, and then I'm gonna try to hit it with a hammer, see what happens. I should have done this earlier. I have an original shop manual for this car, and it's showing me what I have to do in pictures. So I got the fan off, that's good. I got this pulley off, that's good. I need to take this whole housing off, that's not good. I gotta do something to get this housing off. And then I got to take this impeller off. And then in the next page, I gotta take this seal off. They got 2 of these seals, one on the inside, one on the outside. These are the carbon seals. And then I can get to this little ring. So I have with the snap ring pliers, I can take it out. So this is the reason why I can't get it off, because I didn't get this deep in it. So now I gotta go out and find this little ring, take it out, and I'm sure it's gonna come out. I pushed it a little bit with a screwdriver and it came right off, so we're in good shape for now. I think I'm gonna clean this surface up a little bit, because apparently this is supposed to slide off, and it just sure as hell it doesn't want to. This part came off. This is where the carbon is. That's the seal for the backside, but I can't pull this off at all, so I need to find out something. I'm probably gonna spray it with something, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I ran out of options. This needs to slide off. I can't get it, so I started to cut it off. I got several extra ones in stock, so we'll try. I got to this far. I was able to break some off, so now I can put a screwdriver underneath and then try to keep pushing it off. It's not an easy thing to do. Major progress. The big chunk came off. I was hitting it from here and finally broke off, but you can see how dirty it is, and that's the reason why it was stuck on. Well, getting closer to the truth, but still got a lot left, so just gotta have at it. Looks like I won the battle with this nice big bar screwdriver. I didn't pry it from this side because I can bend this aluminum surface, so I bent it from this end, and you can see that there was a little bit of movement, so I just gotta keep at it, and it's almost there. Finally got to the point where I can see that carbon seal. We'll show you a new part and you're gonna understand what I'm looking at, but we gotta keep digging and get everything out of here. Only took 2 hours, but I got it out. Here's that seal, what we'll need to change. There's the rubber grommet going around it, and then there's the bearing and the little clip what we need to get out. Finally get to the point where we see that snap ring, so hopefully we can just pull it out. When I was really wrongly was trying to push it out and hit it from the front, this was the ring where was holding the bearing in position, and luckily nothing broke. So now I can try to get that shaft out towards the back. It's out, finally. Here's the overhead shaft, what I really wanted to get out. The next question I have is, did I break this shaft or not? So it can be broken several ways. One is that the knot at the end, it will not go back on, so now I just cut the thread on it. And then the other question is, did I bend this? So I'm going to reinstall it, and then with the bearings in position, we'll try to turn it, and as we turn it, we'll measure the end of it, see how far it moves up and down. The book says if you want to measure it this way, it has to be 20 millimeters from the face of the cylinder head, and it cannot be more than 0.02 millimeter what it moves. It's really hard to measure anything because the surface is not even on the shaft, so it's kind of old, and it got a bunch of cut in it, so yeah, I think it's gonna be just fine. Fortunately, the coolant didn't really enter the bearing, so the bearing is just fine. I just took this dust shield off. I'm gonna wash it out and then grease it up. I greased off the front bearing as well, so both bearings are in good condition, so I don't see a reason why to change them. Well, let's start assembling it. So I got the shaft in. When I was hitting it in, of course it pushed the other bearing out, but if I push it back in, it will push this one out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install this snap ring, and then it will hold it in position, and then I can set the other bearing on the front. I use this socket to hit it in the middle, and then using this larger socket to hit this dust shield on it, and then we are in good shape. I hit the whole shaft back a little bit to make sure it's not going to sit on that omega ring on the other side. Here's a Hungarian aftermarket set for this, so let's hope we can fix it using this. So I got it all cleaned out. I have this rubber washer on it, and then it should go. Here's the carbon part, which is very sensitive, and we have to push it in. And here's this special made tool from Hungary, what you can use to push these things in. But before I really do that, I'm gonna put a little bit of silicone around this part here to make sure, because it's kind of old in there, to make sure it seals up real nice. I'm having a little hard time with this Hungarian kit because it just doesn't really plays out. So this one's supposed to go in here, but then there's nothing there to touch the carbon ring. So when I took it apart, this part was actually touching that carbon ring down there, and then when I pulled it off, this was actually on it. As you probably rewind it and you can see it, and when I actually pulled this whole thing off, this thing came off at first, but then that part had a little bit of machined a little part in it where you could actually push this one on. So I was looking at my stockpiles and I found this piece, and actually this is how it's supposed to look like apparently, but I don't know how they thought this gonna go together with this, and then where is the new ring, so I just don't know. So with this one, it was full of rust. Everywhere was rusty. I don't know why. I think I got it with a bunch of other parts from someone. So I went on the grinding machine with the wire wheel and cleaned it, but the problem is it's not a nice surface. We need to really actually have a polished, beautiful surface on this in order to be able to slide on the carbon part, and we'd be able to actually seal the water, because that's where it seals on both sides. So the water goes in the middle, and if, as you see, this is the impeller, sits down like this, and then it turns, and then one of these carbon seals hooks up here, the other one is down there, and it seals the area between. So that's where it's actually moves the water from either from the probably from here, and then moves it out on the pipe. So I'm gonna try to polish this thing up. So in order to polish it flat, because it cannot have any kind of imperfections in it, I have a really thick glass here, and I just cleaned up a little surface here, and then my the border collie is really helping me. I need some petting. So I have a 2000 grade sandpaper here, and I'm gonna put a little bit of WD-40 on it, and I will try to move it back and forth, and then hopefully I'll be able to polish it up. This is how it's gonna go for a while, so I'll be right back with you. Well, an hour went by. I was listening to a country station, and it just went by. Anyhow, I think it looks pretty good. So I finished it off with a little bit of chrome polish, and I think it's good to go. I asked a friend in Europe who knew what he was talking about, unlike me. So this part is for a car where the radiator migrated to the front. So it's for a newer version, or for my Barcasses. I have a bunch of Barcas vans. They also have a very similar engine but different cylinder head. So this one is good for Barcas and for the newer versions of the steel two-stroke Wartburgs. So the way it's gonna go together, first we're gonna press this seal in from here, like so, but I'm gonna put a little bit of ultra copper around it because the surface of this aluminum is not exactly the best anymore. And then this will touch that other one. Right now it's actually nicely slides on. That's how it's supposed to come off. So I'm gonna put a bunch of anti-seize lube on here when I put it together, and you can see this nice surface. What I polished, this will mate with the carbon surface there, and then there's a spring inside. If you see it there, then the whole thing can be compressed a little bit, and when you compress it with this, that's when it's actually going to do the sealing while it's turning. So first I expect to leak a little bit, and then it should seal up as it starts running. After that, it requires a spacer. The spacer looks like this for the older versions, and it's supposed to be, I believe it's supposed to be like that. And then you can't put this spacer on until you have the housing installed. And the housing installed like so. And see how far it is, but if I push it, then it compresses the spring, so that's how it's gonna touch this side of the seal what you already installed. And when that's in, then you're gonna push this on, and then you're gonna be able to put the fan on from the outside. This tool I got is perfect, so it's actually just slides on that shaft, and I was able to push it right straight in there. Works really well. I put a bunch of anti-seize on it, make sure I'm gonna be able to hopefully take it apart in the future. I've installed this nut, the pulley. I tighten up the generator, or dynamo in England, and then I put in that little spacer. So now you can see that little spacer is in position, and then now this thing goes to the back. Gotta push it on, and then install the nut here as well. Well, it looks very nice. The only problem is I left this shroud out, so I gotta get the fan off, put the shroud on, tighten it, and then I can put the fan on it. Found some impeller pieces on the floor, and I pushed out the car here so I can give a little bath, because this is all really dirty. I don't want to put it back together like this one. It's so nicely prepped, so I'm just gonna give the car a bath real quick. It sure looks a little better. However, I just found two things I need to address very shortly. One is this bellow here. There's a tear on it, so I gotta buy another one, and I'm gonna need to change the brake fluid. Hasn't done it since I owned the car, so that's the next project. Nonetheless, now I clean what I wanted so I can push it back and continue the assembly. This is the expansion tank, and it's very strange that it's basically under the water level, because the hose will come out from the top of the radiator and will enter it here. So it's basically just expand into this tank, and when it's cooled down, then it will suck it back in from here. But this is a pressure tank. Here is the pressure valve inside, and this is actually the pressure valve, which will set it to 50 kilopascal, whatever that is in PSI, I don't know, but that's the one what sets up the pressure. They must have a nice little rubber seal on it, and then this will go on top of it. The only problem with this expansion tank is that this is a square expansion tank, and every other Wartburg ever made after this car, they had round expansion tanks, which they make in China and basically cost about $5. This one is 150 euros nowadays to find one of these, if it's new. It's incredibly hard to find, and it's still there. Since I wanted to change that hose, but going from this expansion tank in the pressure tank into the radiator, I need to go to Riley's and find the hose which will fit this. I'm pretty sure there's something there what I could find for this. It's incredibly hard to adjust the water temperature, so to close it, I really have to just come out with a plier and move this. So maybe while I'm here, am I gonna just disassemble this whole thing and try to clean it out. I unscrewed this heater valve and took the guts out of it, and now I cleaned it with some wire brush. There's a rubber seal on it, and now I'm gonna lube it up, put it back together. Hopefully it's gonna work a lot smoother than before. I put the valve on and it works great. And then now I got to this expansion tank, and I put the hose on it, the new hose, tighten it up so I can put it back where it belongs. And I'm gonna put the straps on, and then continue on with putting the front back on the car. I put the front grill up, and now we're gonna do the lights. Since these ones are not sealed beams, actually there's a light bulb here and a light bulb underneath. So we got the position light and we got the regular light. This has a very similar connection as the sealed beams. And then you got a ground wire, so I just need to connect those and cover it up with the rubber seal on top of it. I think we are ready for the radiator. I cleaned it up a little bit on the outside, or I guess it's the inside, so now it can go back in. This is how the original clamps look like. It goes into that slat over there, and then you got to start winding it up, and then with a screwdriver, and then when you're almost ready, you got to push this lock on. So if you see it here, you got to make sure these grooves are open on both ends, and then you hold this one down, and it will go click, 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 and it will keep it tight. I'm just before ready to put coolant in it. So this one is tight, that one is tight, this one is tight there, this one is tight there. There's a new hose here, tight, tight, new hose, tight, tight. So everything is there. I guess we can fill it up with water and see what happens. I expect that it's gonna leak. It's gonna leak out of this hole or the other side, and it's gonna leak out here. But the stipulation is we can't really run it until it's got coolant in it, because the coolant will lubricate it. And we're gonna have to open this bolt here. That's the drain. That's the highest point of the water pump. I filled it up with coolant. Let's see what happens when I start it. I think it's fine. There's nothing leaking, so I think I'm gonna make it stop, and then I'm gonna put a little bit more coolant in it to fill it up, and then fill up the overflow or the pressure tank up to here, and then I'm gonna put on the air intake and air filter part. It's almost done. Minor detail. I have to reroute this pipe here, this hose, because it's supposed to go over it, and then it can get to the carburetor. I think we're done. So I'm just gonna close this hood. Let's go try it. Let's warm it up and see what happens when it's at operating temperature. Well, it runs as far as a Wartburg can run nice with 3 cylinders. So yeah, the temperature went up almost all the way to the red, then came down, and now it's perfect. So that's when the thermostat opens. So let's look if we have any leak in the engine. I think it works well. It doesn't really leak anywhere. You see a little leak at the bottom, but it may have just came before we left from the air what was in it. So I think we did it. So I think it's done. Thanks for watching. Now I'm just gonna wash the poor thing, so I think it deserves it. And then we'll see what's gonna break next time when I'm trying to drive it. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.